Hello everybody, Writing Tutor Sarah here, and today we're going to be talking about topic and concluding sentences as well as general paragraph flow. So, without further ado, let's flow right on into our talk today. Alright, so as you could guess, we're starting with the general flow of our paragraphs, specifically the body paragraphs. So if you're looking for introduction or conclusion paragraph help, that is a separate video, but feel free to check that one out as well. But when we're discussing this, we're kind of just in regards to body paragraphs. So let's discuss some of the key components that we find in our body paragraph. We start with an opening to the topic of the paragraph. That is our topic sentence, which we're going to hear a little bit more about later. From our topic sentence that introduces the topic of the paragraph, we then get into our meat and potatoes. We're talking about, what our paragraph's actually about, the actual writing for it, and usually that's where your quote is introduced. After you introduce the quote, you're going to have about 2 to 3 sentences analyzing the quote, and that is specifically to prove why that quote's integral to the main point of the paragraph and the paper. Again, if you're looking for analysis help, we also have a separate video for that. Now, remember, we want to make sure that all of the topics for our paragraphs tie back to our thesis, and all of our quotes are analyzed to go back to our topic sentence. Everything is connected. So, most paragraphs will end up having about 2 quotes, and each quote will have those 2 to 3 sentences of analysis, and then you can conclude your paragraph using a brief concluding sentence to wrap up the point of your paragraph so the reader is ready for the next one. Remember, topic sentence and concluding sentence, both integral to have that good paragraph flow and make each paragraph feel like a complete unit in your paper. You can see this nice little visual that kind of tells you about how you go from that broad beginning down to that neat little ending. Then Purdue OWL has some things to say about the 4 elements of a good paragraph. They say that a good paragraph should have a transition, a topic sentence, specific evidence and analysis, and a brief wrap-up sentence, and also known as a warrant. They call it T-TEB, T-T-E-B. Now, I would argue you can merge 1 and 2 together. I think that a really good topic sentence acts as a transition sentence. But they also have some hot takes here. A transition sentence that leads from a previous paragraph to assure a smooth reading. It acts as a handoff from one idea to the next. I would argue that you can make your topic sentence into that transition sentence and also be able to tell the reader what you're discussing in this paragraph. Remember, we're trading off from the previous paragraph to the new one. So while you can address something from the previous paragraph, you want it to be the main focus being your new topic. Then you're, of course, having your specific evidence and analysis that I talked about, making sure that it supports your claim, that's your topic, and provides that deeper level of detail on your topic sentence. We're going into the details here. Then you're going to briefly wrap up with a concluding sentence that tells the reader how and why that information supports the paper's thesis. The brief wrap-up is also known as the warrant. Why is this argument warranted? Why does it connect your reasoning and support to your thesis? And it also shows that the information in the paragraph is related to the thesis and helps you defend that point. Again, as I said, I argue a good transition sentence is your topic sentence. And that if done right, your brief wrap-up sentence, your concluding sentence, works really well to show the cut from that paragraph to the next one. It's all about making sure you've got a good order to your paragraphs as well, as some similar topics can go one after another to help with that flow naturally without you needing to have that extra transition statement in there. Now, let's talk about those topic sentences. Now, both topic and concluding sentences help you organize and focus your body paragraphs. It kind of narrows in and tells us what that paragraph's going to be about, which helps for the flow of your paper. They should not have quotes in them. I don't want to start my paragraph with a quote for our body paragraph. They're usually the first sentence of the body paragraph, and they act like a little baby thesis. So they're not factual statements, but they should introduce the main point or idea of the paragraph, which is usually something you brought up or hinted at in your thesis. They should also support your overall thesis, usually because they are tied together, they're linked together. Now, a really good way to ensure it's linked heavily is to use a keyword. So a word that you already had in your introductory paragraph, specifically your thesis, in that topic sentence. So all that evidence you discuss in your body paragraph should support the topic sentence, which, in turn, if you have a good one, should support your thesis. The topic sentences can help transition to the new paragraph if you make a little mention of the previous paragraph's main idea, or even without if you have a really good concluding sentence to the previous paragraph. A really common way to structure that transition topic sentence is a linking word or phrase from the previous paragraph's main idea to a linking word or phrase with the new topic or argument. Then we've got our concluding sentence, which is at the end. So a concluding sentence is the last sentence of our paragraph. It's going to firmly close the paragraph or argument, and the sentences should support your thesis and mirror your topic sentence, but often it goes a step further by including a major point from the body of your paragraph. It's the last sentence in your paragraph, so here's a few do's and don'ts. So you do want to restate your topic sentence, but in a different manner, right? So we're restating it using synonyms, similar words. You can restate the topic sentence using a different kind of sentence. You want to wrap up your paragraph with this sentence, and you want to consider maybe using some transition words to signify that you are finishing the paragraph and the thought process in that little paragraph. So you're kind of tying up your loose ends before you move on to the next point. You do not want to copy the exact wording of the topic sentence. We don't want a duplicate sentence here. We don't want to add any new ideas in at the very end. We're tying up loose ends, not creating new ones. You don't want to focus on a really small idea. We're talking about the broad content of this paragraph, not just one tiny little detail you bring up. I also really don't think you want to start the sentence with, and now you know, that is the reason, that's what I learned about, or, and that's why. It just doesn't really feel professional, and it kind of breaks that fourth wall that the reader has up. And if you're breaking the fourth wall to pop your head in, it's taking itself a little less seriously, and we don't really want that vibe for our paper 9 times out of 10. Here are some examples of topic and concluding sentences, as well as some tips on how to create those topic and concluding sentences. So, for our tips for the topic sentence, we want to think about examples you'll use in your concrete evidence. So maybe a little homage to a quote you're about to hint at. You can think about your message. What do you want the reader to know or understand about this topic in this paragraph? You can include the subject and argument of your claim in the sentence, or you could just introduce the sentence in the paragraph with something a little more broad and wait until the concrete evidence to get into those specifics. So we don't want any super specific stuff. That's going to come later in our quote analysis. For our concluding sentence, we want to restate that big idea of that topic sentence using some different words in a different order. You want to summarize that big idea of the paragraph without repeating the same exact words. We want something a little different, right? We don't want them to feel like it's monotonous or like we're repeating ourselves. We want to give the reader something to think about. Not too big, obviously, no new questions, but, remind them what we're asking them to consider. And we want to hopefully transition to the next paragraph if you're writing an essay. So, here is an example. Staying safe while making soap is of the utmost importance since lye can be so dangerous. This might be the topic sentence for a paragraph about the dangerousness of soap and the need for soap safety. That would probably be the paper topic, and the paragraph topic would be about the dangers of lye in the soap. And then from there, they might have different paragraphs with different dangerous concepts for the soap. Then, for the concluding sentence of the lye is dangerous argument, take the extra time to make sure you are safe. A trip to the emergency room is easily avoided by protecting your eyes and skin by combining the ingredients in the correct order so you can continue on the fun part of soap making. So the bigger picture is here. We're saying, okay, if we're extra safe, then we can keep having fun with soap making. So safety keeps the dangerous lye out of the emergency room and out of our eyes and skin. So, another example, from the passage, we can infer that Mrs. Jones has high standards enforced by her care and compassion. I don't like the from the passage bit for the start of our paragraph. This honestly kind of feels like analysis. I would argue you'd want something more like Mrs. Jones is a character with very high standards, which happen to be enforced by her caring compassion, which we see in many parts of the text. That shows that we're going to go into more detail in the text later on. But by starting with from the passage, that makes it sound like you've already have just one quote you're looking at, and that doesn't feel like an entire paragraph's worth of information. Now, our concluding sentence is a little better. It is clear from Mrs. Jones' interactions with Roger that she has high expectations for behavior. However, those kind standards are conveyed through kindness, which makes her lessons even more poignant. This kind of wraps up our paragraph, tells us all of the big, heavy hitting bullet points about Mrs. Jones that we wanted to learn from that paragraph. So, a nice, lovely wrap up. Topic sentence could use some work, if you ask me, but to each their own. Now, that's the end of today. That's all we've got. I do hope this helped you understand all these different concepts of paragraph structure to help your paper flow a little bit better. If you're wondering, this is my works cited, which means these are all the resources that I used today. Feel free to check them out. A lot of these are university resources from other universities that I just really enjoy. I'm one person. I could always learn something, and I love using resources to help both of us learn together. As you can see, our favorite Purdue owl makes an appearance very often, including today. But yeah, feel free to take a look at all those. But just a friendly reminder that if you're still finding yourself with questions, comments, and concerns, you can always find us at the Writing Center. We are here to help you master all things to do with writing and revising your paper, so feel free to stop by with either a draft or some questions you have about how to tackle those writing needs, and we'll always be happy to help you out. For more information on this topic and more, feel free to check our website for information. I know I have more videos up there, and there's also ways to meet with a tutor to help you with all of your writing needs. Whether it be online, in person, or by email, we are always happy to help you out. So yeah, with that said, we hope to see you soon. Bye!